Good afternoon, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I, your ever-loving host Shorty, have finally got my proper delivery for this week, and as such, I am capable of reviewing comic books. Isn't life grand? I'm starting with one that I just wanted to read to cheer me up because I've been looking forward to it for a while. Supergirl with Tomorrow by Tom King, and I've forgotten her first name, Bilquis Emily. Right, there's a reason I've been looking forward to this. Number one, massive Tom King fan. Number two, when I saw they were redoing a Supergirl comic book, I was, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit concerned that, well, if you're going to relaunch a character like this, why not have more representation involved in the character? Tom King, good, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, Tom King is kind of them showing their confidence in the character. They're not just putting anyone who's going to just churn it out and go home early. They're not putting on a B or even C or even B level talent. They're putting on one of their best writers. So I was like, right, okay, that's actually, although not perfect, it's showing something. And it's kind of hard to talk about the character without talking about that kind of representation. I'm going to not go straight to it though. First, I'm going to talk about the art by Bilquis Emily. Remember the name this time. And it is pure fantasy gold. The cover on its own is just outstanding. And it ties in a lot what I'm going to talk about. I've spoken past about passive posing for female characters. That is the opposite of it. Even though she's not really doing anything, the focus is militaristic nature to it, hand held in a fist, hip slightly off, everything in balance there looks absolutely brilliant. It's not just that though. So everything happens around it is practically the cover to a kind of movie poster or other things around there. Look, I'm thinking Warlord of Mars, John Carter kind of thing. Jumps to mind straight away. And doing that with Supergirl seems like a really, really good choice. I mean, apart from having a little dog in a cape. The dog in the cape's not really part of the Conan oeuvre, but it does what it needs to do. And the artwork carries on throughout. It is a fantasy setting. This is not Supergirl on Earth or Krypton or anything like that. She's basically taken some time off on her 21st birthday to go to a planet with a red sun so she can get drunk, because she can't get drunk on a planet with a yellow sun. Didn't know that, but it's kind of cool little bit of world building there. I imagine Superman fans, Supergirl fans, like, oh, shorty. But I didn't know that. Also means you can get hurt, which plays in later on, and that's an awful lot of fun. But the fantasy world leans into how it's written, because one of the things I love is realistic, naturalistic dialogue. And this one has a whole bunch of stuff which isn't that. It is over the top. It is eloquent and long-winded. Most of the actual words on the page you're going to see are narration after the fact. It's basically somebody who has lived through this experience and is telling us about it. And we're seeing it as kind of like a visualized memory. It's not the most unusual storytelling trick in comic books, but it works particularly well in the fantasy genre, I think, where these big events are things that are legendary in their own way. And Supergirl being on your planet, I think, would certainly cover that. And Supergirl being on the planet is obviously the crux of the story. And I said it before, she's there because she wants to get drunk. She's 21, it's legal. She's the truth, the justice, and the American way, as she says, because she's slightly drunk and gets things wrong, which is brilliant. In fact, she gets a lot of things wrong, which is brilliant, because there is a tendency to write female characters, especially strong female characters, as being defined by that strength, and defined by usually very little other than how perfect they are at the thing they do, even if it's not particularly being strong. And for me, I kind of wanted to see something other than that with this character. Mainly because my limited experience of Supergirl started watching, I think it was a Superman animated either episode or TV show with Supergirl's first appearance, and this cousin of his that appeared from Krypton, fully formed, just in the space of about 48 hours became a Valley Girl. Now, I'm using that phrase, I don't mean to be derogatory. I honestly don't know if Valley Girls exist in the real world. I have seen enough movies, TV shows, cartoons, and the like, that I know exactly what they were going for when they created the character to be that way. It was fashion and boys and makeup and movies and TV and deodorant and perfume or whatever. Which, don't get me wrong, could be important things, but when you've got a character as powerful as Supergirl, I couldn't help but feel it was selling them short a little bit. And it's not that, I'm saying that that's not a flaw, and I'm just being saying, yes, should be defined by more than their strengths. But it felt like it was not giving her a chance to be a strong character, even. It was going to lowest common denominator and disappointing, to say the least. This is Supergirl far more in her element. She's 21, she's grown. She's gone off and done things. She's hanging out with Crypto the Superdog, getting drunk because it's legal. and also helping people out. And still, even though she's been wanting to be somebody else to hire her to kill somebody, she's like, no, don't kill people. That's bad. She has a youth to her without being immature. She has an air of adventure to her without being gobsmacked and excited by everything. There is no naivety left there, which I think is a really strong showing. And that level of character growth from my first experience of her actually really does help sell the story as a decent fantasy epic. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where it goes. The writing is brilliant, the art is brilliant, the world is fantastic, and it all comes together to be a genuinely cool launch issue. Probably the only issue I can see with it for people who might not want to give it a shot is the fantasy element to it, rather than it being it's not really a superhero story. But I think the way it's going to be get put together will come to a very satisfying conclusion. That is it. I am well over time, as I tend to do when I've got a lot more to talk about. Check it out. It's amazing. I'm going to try and do as many reviews as I can over the next couple of days because there's a few more things I need to get to, and I've really been running out of time. Check out my other couple of videos recently to see why. Other than that, take it easy. Look after yourself. Stay safe. Look after each other as well. Bye.